Good morning, lady and gentlemen. I think it's only one lady. Welcome to NRK. Thank you for taking time with us. Busy schedule, I know, and also picking a particularly difficult day in Oslo where the rain is going to be pouring down and they're closing half of the freeways around the city. And also, I reckon that it was quite difficult to get a hotel room in Oslo because some other things happening also in here. So, especially with the road systems, well, I think half of Oslo have kept their car at home after requests from NRK and all other newspapers there. So, at least now we know the importance of infrastructure and good messages around here. Just give you some technical details around with the meeting room and everything. It's okay to go outside if you need to have a break or have some air, because I'm sure it's going to be quite warm here during the day. It's possible to I don't know if it's possible to smoke outside. It's after NRK regulation. I don't think anybody's going to hang you for that, so probably be okay with that. Toilets is in that direction if you need that, so we will take some breaks in between the different presentations. But other than that, you're stuck with us in this meeting room for at least 2-3 hours. We are recording this session. That is just for our internal use, but it also could be that we could make the video available through Mercell. And all the presentations will also be available through Mercell, and Kristen will be responsible to have that out in a short while. So if you don't get all the information on the presentations, they will be available for you. We also have made it possible for you to have one-to-one meetings with us, and I know some of you have booked that, and those meetings will start right after the presentations and so on here. And we will have lunch brought in here around midday, so it will be some food here also. Then, other than that, it's coffee and some sodas and some fruit up on the side here, and feel free to move around when you need to fill up the coffee cup and so on. My name is Geir. I didn't say that. I'm head of investments for NRK and the senior project manager for NRK. And we call this project that we want to tell you about Origo. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But just firstly, presentation, the team that is here and is going to do different presentations. Eirik Solheim is our head of information and sitting in the back there. Robert Engels, back here, he will do the presentations about the archive part and the reuse part and a lot of the technical stuff around the architecture. Helge Løken is our head of the project manager for production. And Kristen Torp is our senior purchaser from the purchase department and will tell you all the technical stuff about the purchasing process. And we also have Rune Hagberg, which is one of our architects and also responsible for the tender process. And Ole Andreas Johnsen, which is responsible for our workflow group that's worked with all the different user groups and the different newsrooms and grabbing all the important information now. He is a key person inside our projects. So that's the team that is here today. It will be possible to ask questions in between the different presentations, so feel free to do that. Of course, the one of you that had also made one-to-one meetings, you could ask the questions also afterwards. Then just be aware that English is not our first language, so if anything is not clear, please ask. I know you probably come from a lot of different, we have Spanish-speaking, German-speaking, French-speaking, and English-speaking persons in here, and probably some Dutch also. So if something's not clear, please tell us, and we will try to do that. What we will do today is really try to tell you the story about what's leading up to the Origo project. And it all started with the NRK players. I headed the NRK player project, which started around 2010. And when we did that, we saw all the different needs from the old production infrastructure in NRK and all the problems grabbing the metadata in the right way. And we had all the wishes from the web people that tried to reorganize all the metadata and the programs coming out of production and didn't succeed. We had search time in the first period over 35 seconds in the worst cases. And you know what happens when people searches and it takes 35 seconds at something happening. They search one time more, and then they keep searching, and then the system is broke. I have a son that's 11 years old. When things doesn't work after 1 second, the system is broke, and you probably know from your old children. And we know from our users it's the same. When we launched the players, we still succeeded after over 3 years work with this, and was luckily to be very first out in the Norwegian market. And the player systems, which is the radio player, the children's player, and the TV player, is a huge success. We have 195,000 programs with rights for the public out in the players, and I checked this morning. It's over 300,000 programs. It's 1.3 million files inside the store for the NRK players today. And when we say that we want to do something better for NRK now, it's really regards to all the things and all the needs we have to deliver our programs in a better way to the public. And even though we did this project like that, if you go into the NRK players today and trying to search for the letter S, because we have all the programs on the start with the letter S, it's 269 different program series that start with the letter S. That's not really very good when you're trying to search for programs anymore. So we need better means, better ways for the public to find all they want to hear, all they want to see. And what we are really doing now is inviting you to be part of a project to make it better for NRK, for NRK's viewers, and probably learn something in the process yourself, and probably be able to deliver better products also in this. We will try to tell you a lot about how this perspective is from NRK's side here now. And I will tell you a small story that I think Kim and AV-IT told me somewhere. And it said that if a broadcaster comes to a vendor and then telling you that they want a MAM system, you should run, because then they don't know what they're talking about. If they're saying to you that they made all the bad experience in this area, and they tried several times and they broke in several trust in both the public and that, then you could start talking to them. And we probably, hopefully, we are in the latter stage of this. So when we're telling you, we probably will tell you also some of the bad things we have experienced on this part, but it's a very good expectation now also from the general management in NRK to make this better, and that they see also that this is very important to make NRK really the strong company that it is today, also in 10 years. Okay, so I said this started with the project players. So the bad history, of course, also that we needed to brush up all the things with our program people, because they, program people doesn't always like to deliver metadata. So we had what the project, we said 7 needs that they needed to deliver to us. And in fact, that succeeded quite well from the different departments. They saw that if they didn't deliver the metadata, they didn't get people to find it in the player systems. Then out of that project, because we didn't solve everything there, we started what we call the metadata bank project. And also started prototyping a lot of technology around, and started building a radio archive. And Robert will tell you more about the story around the radio archive, because radio archive is really the prototype for the metadata bank, and the prototype of a lot of the technology we think we should build in-house, and probably together with some other partners also in that area. And we already are in partnerships with a lot of other companies in NRK, which is in fact in the same state of that NRK, and you will probably be a little surprised that is companies from the oil sector, like Statoil, from the companies like the Norwegian Veritas, companies also in other branches than media. Then some of you I know was part of the public RFI in 2014, which started really before we got the chance to take care of having a unified structure with the projects in NRK, because we already had started a MAM project. So what we have done now is that we're forming the Origo project out of both these two projects and have coordinated this during the last year. And a lot of the feedback that you gave us during the RFI process in 2014 and helped us unify this project. So we thank you very much for taking part in that process, and we have taken a lot of the information out of that project. So again, thank you for that. So what is Origo in NRK terms? Because Origo really means, you know, the center of the coordinate system, and it's how we think about it also in NRK. So when we ask the users about Origo, it's not a system. It's more an ID, a vision, and an architecture. And we worked quite heavily on that during the last year. So when we brought together over 50 people to build really the Origo vision, and some of the means out of this won't be a very big surprise for you, but of course we're talking faster, simpler, and available for all. Well, you knew those. But we also knew, remember when we had the former RFI process, you used the word scalable, flexible, and so on, and all of you know that by heart, all those words. We need to come a little bit further than that. So, of course, other things also. User interfaces are recognized, said the users. That means we don't really want to have 300 different user interfaces. We have that today, more than 300. Only the program bank is 300 different user interfaces. And we can't build any one of them. It's all connected to vendors. We want the system to be built by users, for users, says all our people. And we want continuing evolution of software. We won't have it like, if we come to you with a problem, 9 months later we have a solution. They are already used to, we are fixing this for the players 14 days after, one sprint after. We want to, of course, to remove manual processes, and we have a lot of that. It's still paper and pencil in some processes. You will be surprised if you come up to a drama set. You probably will find a script with a pencil and paper, because that's still the fastest. And they don't want to have 25 other people waiting for them when they're finishing the last metadata from that scene. I think we probably have a solution for them now. They want to have automatic processes, and our top management definitely want Origo to make NRK more effective. And all of that comes down to Ole Andreas' area, the workflow. We want it module-based, and we want it built on common NRK architecture and standardized architecture. And the public wanted a better experience for the public audience. And they want to be able to search much easier. And one of our chief editors said, we want it auto-magic. I think that's a good depression, or automagical.